Friends, before I formally start the program, can I request the students alone to stand up for a moment? Students alone, could you please stand up for a moment? Thanks for the wonderful prayer and wonderful welcome address. I really appreciate both of the girls for giving such a good grace. I have a customary practice before I start my session. So I have got many people to pay respect to, I have got many people to thank also, but even before that, this is very important. Okay? We're going to take a pledge. Right? So what you do is just repeat what I'm saying. And make sure you're not repeating from your lips, repeat from your heart. Right? You understand? I promise my parents. You're young, you're fast, you're strong. Shout. I promise my parents. I promise my teachers. I promise to myself. And I promise to God. That whatever I learn in this session will be practiced, put into action immediately. I promise that I will be remaining completely focused, with full attention and with full cooperation. I promise that I have realized that this training is not only for my school life, but also for my entire life. The therapies, ideas, tools, and techniques that is given in this session and the next sessions will be taught, internalized, and utilized properly. I bear promise that I will remain as a very good student, a very good son and daughter, and most importantly, a very good citizen of India. I promise. So, most respected Managing Director, ma'am, thank you for coming and joining and raising this occasion. Thank you so much. And respected Chairman and MD ma'am's daughter, who has come for the first time, my sincere respects to you for joining here. Sincere respects to the principal, Dr. Manikandan sir. My sincere respect and gratitude to Mr. Mahadevan, who has been the sole reason for me to enter. Thank you, sir, once again. Priya ma'am, Rajashri ma'am, who has been the stalwart of arranging this particular session. She has been going through a lot of struggle in making this session happening. I really appreciate your tendency for making this happen. Staff coordinators who have joined here, and my dear friends. Thanks for joining and thanks for deciding to invest your time along with me today. To begin with, the technical team is working to get the pictures on the slide, but to begin with, let us speak something interactive. I don't want you to glaze into that wonderful booklet that has been given. There is a time for looking into that, but before that, let us speak on a personal note. Okay? If I ask you to give me an answer on a very frank basis, as far as your life is concerned, what is the scale of happiness? First scale, what is the scale of happiness? Second scale, what is the scale of fulfillment? Third scale, what is the scale of pressure and stress? Let us talk about the first scale. In each scale, you can give 10 marks. 10 being so wonderful and complete, 1 being very poor. So we will start up with the happiness scale. How much mark will you give for yourself as far as the happiness scale of yours? 5, okay. On the boys' side? 7. Right, okay. Any other responses? Some people say 5, some people say 7. Any other? 8. Right, good. 10 out of 10. Brilliant. Let's move on to the second scale. What is the second scale, by the way? Fulfillment. How much is the scale of fulfillment? I mean, how much metrics you would give for the fulfillment out of 10? 7 again. 5. Yeah, we were speaking about fulfillment scale, and some people mentioned 7, and some people mentioned 5, some people mentioned 3, 9. Okay. We're coming to the important scale, the third scale. Come on, Mr. Mani, and ask the question. I'm ready to answer. Stress and pressure. How much is the mark you will give, or how much will be the metric that you give for stress and pressure? And you are saying the answer with a lot of fabulous smile on your face. Sir, 8, sir, 9, okay. Anybody in this room by any chance who would say, I would be giving a metric of 2 or 3 for stress and pressure? Anybody? Stick your neck out and say that I would only give 2 or 3 for stress and pressure because I have mastered to handle the stress and pressure. Anybody? Or even trying. Sir, I'm at least trying. I cannot say I can master that particular skill, but I'm at least trying. Can anyone say? Okay, so I noticed one girl. I don't want to highlight her. She gave 8 for happiness and 8 for stress. How can that be possible? She says 8 for happiness and 8 for stress. How could that be possible? When you are happy, you cannot be stressed, and when you are stressed, you cannot be happy. So, why should I ask this question? I want you to have a good look at this particular slide. This is a profound reality. Forget that you are a +1 student. Forget that you are an youngster. Just being, very much candid and get into the statement. Can you read the statement louder for me, if you don't mind? Beautiful. 83% of Indian youngsters are working in the industries that they don't even want to work. I repeat the statistics. 83% of Indian youngsters are working in the industries that they don't even want to work. Which means 83% of people are working in the platform that they don't even want to work, in the platform that they don't even want to have in their life. Are they conquerors or slaves? And let's talk about your life. You are preparing for getting into that 83%, or are you preparing for getting into that 17%, which is actually working according to the dream and goal? You tell me. Are you sure? Are you really working towards that 17% only, not towards the 83%? How many people would say, yes, I'm working towards the 17% only. I'm going to make that 17% into 20 to 23. I'm going to maximize the percentage. I'm working towards it. How many people would like to say? Put your hand up. Come on, I heard some people saying yes, but why are you not putting your hand up? Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hardly about 10 hands. I really appreciate all you people. 83% and 17%, this statistics is a very important connotation. But actually, when a person is not taking control over the mind, when a person is not taking control over what is going inside at a given point of time, the person can raise the collar and the person would only have to say that he is a slave or she is a slave. I have repeated the statistics over and over again. One more statistics. 92% of heart attacks happen between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning. Because that's the time when people are going to a place which they don't like. I don't want this school students' careers to be like that. I don't want this school students' lifestyle and lifespan to be like that as if it is in the 83% that we are speaking about. So we need to create a system here, and that's why this particular session has been arranged. Look at this slide. During the course of time, let's say for example when you are writing the examination or when you are putting your head up into the test at 9 o'clock in the morning, what happens is so many things happen into your mind. Sometimes you get feelings of weaknesses, sometimes you get feelings of inefficiency, sometimes you get feelings of lack of ability. All these feelings, when they come and flash into your mind, they make you weaker and weaker and weaker. Weakness, inefficiency, or lack of ability is considered to be true by the mind and becomes autopilot feelings. There is a new form of technique called as autopilot feelings in psychology. 5 days, if you are conditioned enough to think about a particular feeling, 6th day, your mind starts automatically thinking about that feeling. It's called as conditioning in psychology. So when 9 o'clock in the morning, the stressed boy or the stressed girl comes and sits for writing the test, and if the boy or the girl's mind is conditioned to think about insufficient thoughts, inefficient thoughts, and lack of ability thoughts, then the person's test is obviously going to be a poor show. Sometimes, on the period of time, without even knowing, we are into this particular slavery. That has to be broken down. At any given point of time, a higher secondary student has to be taught as to how to have good feelings. Because that's not in the education syllabus, that's not in the education system, Indian education system indeed. How to have good mindset maintenance. We call it as mindset maintenance. So when you give so much power to these kinds of feelings, you become used to those feelings and you become a weaker person. And those weaker persons, my dear boys and girls, are the ones who are in that 83% that we spoke about a couple of minutes back. Your parents are not ready to see that particular slavery in your life. And we as teachers are not really ready to see that particular slavery in your life. And speaking about mindset, we call something as mindset maintenance. When your conscious mind is given with the wishes and desire that is getting programmed into the subconscious mind. Okay? Dr. Bruce Lipton, a famous American biologist. You must Google this man, Bruce Lipton, a famous American biologist. He says one particular profound factor. Let us come back to the slide, but we will look into the slide which contains the information that was said by Bruce Lipton 2 years back. Look into the last line of the slide. First 7 years, you are naturally in the state of theta. Bruce Lipton says, when a child is born, in the first 7 years, whatever you input into the child's mind is going to become a profound reality. In the first 7 years, whatever that is subjected into the mind of the child is going to be the reality. You can decide whether the child is going to be a success in the future or a failure in the future in the first 7 years. Why? Because our mind has got 4 levels, alpha, beta, theta and delta. So this theta level is a very important kind of a state where negativity percentage will be only 2%. Negativity will be only 2%. In which level? In which level I am speaking about? Theta level. It's pronounced as theta level somewhere here, and it's also pronounced as theta level. Negativity is just 2%. But you and me are right now, I'm talking and you are listening, we are in beta level where the negativity is almost about 65%. Bruce Lipton says, in the first 7 years, a child always lives in theta level. What a fortunate kind of a system. The first 7 years, the child lives in theta level. But you and me can have theta level only 90 minutes in a day. In 24 hours, we can have only 90 minutes of theta. And that too, in the early morning, 2:30 a.m. when you are deep asleep. But the point is, it is in the theta level, the mind has to be programmed, the mind has to be conditioned. Now, as per the words of Bruce Lipton, let us talk about your first 7 years. Go back to your first 7 years. How did your mom and dad treat you in the first 7 years? What were all the inputs you were giving to your mind in the first 7 years? Because in the 11th grade, the physical anatomy of yours, the psychological anatomy of yours, everything have been configured based upon what has been input in the first 7 years. You believe it or not, you like it or not, this is a reality, my dear boys and girls. My respective teachers who are listening at the backyard, I have spoken to them. We had interacted several times, and thank you for joining, by the way, all the teachers. Thanks for coming here. We have interacted several times about this mind philosophy, but for you, this is new. So, we have got 2 news, one good news and one bad news. Let me tell you the bad news first, after knowing about what Bruce Lipton has mentioned. The bad news is that we cannot go back in the first 7 years and we cannot change it. That's an ironical fact, and it's irritably a truth, a bad news. Good news is that we can at least take control now. 11th grade, what's your age now? You are in the teens, right? So it's not too late. You can take control of it. But a 35-year-old man, when he knows it, that's not a very big bad news. It's a huge bad news for him because he cannot go back and change. But you can really change. That's a fortunate news for you. Right? Okay? So I'm going to teach you some methods so that you can change the inputs of your mind, not only your class, but also 10th standard and plus 2 students. I'm going to give you some techniques as to how to reprogram your kind of theta level conditioning, how to reprogram your mind. Because when I was researching Bruce Lipton's articles, I was very much enthralled with the way he mentioned a person who wants to become a scientist, who wants to become a doctor, who wants to become an IPS officer, IAS officer, whoever he wants. That particular parent can condition the mind of the child in that first 7 years. Even I got so much sad because my mom did not know that I can be conditioned so properly in the first 7 years of mine. But right now, since you have known, send this to many people. Cascade this information to many people. And how are we going to use our theta level? I'm going to, towards the end of, at the middle of this particular session, you will be given some technique where your mind is going to be conditioned before sleep. Because I basically believe that the mind is underutilized. Now I would like to invite you to look into the first page of your document. The picture that you are seeing over here. So boys and girls, we are good at this. The combativeness. Combativeness is the combination of the talents and skills that you have as a 11th grade student. Sir, I can do glass painting. Sir, I can write poems. Sir, I am good in craft work. Sir, I am good in programming. Sir, I am good in making applications. Sir, I am good in web development. All these skills of yours are called as your combativeness. And the culture that was given by mom, dad, and all the teachers in the yesteryears years, that's over here at the back of your head. And this is the knowledge that you have been getting so far from Excel group of schools. And this is the spiritual feelings that you have, your belief about God over the top of the head. And you have your memories, good memories, bad memories, fond memories, not very much comfortable memories, all those over here. And you've got the information about yourself, your self-concept, who you really are, and what are you capable of, what is your self-esteem, what is your self-confidence level, everything over here. And your ability to crack jokes, and your ability to see the lighter side of some pressure, humor, and your negative emotions, anger, jealousy, and inferior complex, insecurity, terror. But we gotta wait. 40% of this particular section has not even been explored so far. And that 40%, my dear boys and girls, is called as the mystery. Now this is where Bruce Lipton lays his hands on. This mystery section, we don't even know what is in there. A 9th standard or a 10th standard or an 11th standard student gets addicted to smartphone because of that mystery section. A teenage boy or a teenage girl is getting addicted to the unwanted youth adversities, like visiting bad websites or like making harassing statements or getting involved into some spheres which is not defining the mankind on a proper basis. All this happens because of the mysterious section not being properly manifested. But the question is, how can we manifest that mystery? Who will help us to manifest that mystery? That mystery can be manifested, that mystery can be opened up, that locked door can be opened up only by doing two things. One, a thorough self-analysis. Two, a proper planning of the future. Because a thorough self-analysis will make the person understand the real mysterious feelings that are inside that particular section. And a clear-cut decision about the future will definitely make the person as to what to do, what not to do. In a particular situation, the person will be self-guided as to what to do and what not to do. I'll show you very clearly. This is not in the booklet that I have given to you, but this is an extra slide I have decided to show. I just made a plan to show this particular slide this morning only. This is called as mind mapping, okay, right? So this is a very important concept right now, and you look into the questions that are being asked. Can you see the questions? Can you jot down and can you trigger out the questions that are there? What are the questions? Can you see questions in that map? What are the questions you are seeing? We will ask him. What's your name, sir? Get up. Give him a hand, please. He's the first person to volunteer. I want you to identify the questions that are on the slide. What are the questions you are seeing there? How? Okay, then. Then? Why? Okay. Where? What and who? Any other question? His eyes are seeing that question, but his mind is not able to answer. Why? Social awareness. So many people are looking at me, right? What is the missed question? Don't prompt him. What is it? Okay, right. Good. Thank you. Sit down, please. Sit down. So, this is one particular sphere of mind mapping where when a particular student is distracted, we used to give this questionnaire to that particular person and immediately distract the distraction. We distract the distraction. For example, what's your name? Andrew. Let's say, for example, if Andrew is preparing for the examination at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, beta level, completely dominant. 3 o'clock in the afternoon is a very raw period where the beta level will be completely augmented. So Andrew is distracted. And at that point of time, being his career counselor, and when I see Andrew being distracted, I'll immediately give him a questionnaire of this mind mapping. So now I will ask Andrew to write one thing in the middle of the questionnaire. Mind distraction. Or I will ask Andrew to get into the sufficiency motivation. Like I will ask Andrew to write the dream or the goal that you have for your life in the middle of the paper. And Andrew will write, you have any goal, Andrew? What is the goal? To be a good?
To be a good man.
To be a good man. Okay. In occupation wise, you are already a good man. They are not very happy about it. In occupation wise?
I want to become a doctor.
You want to become a doctor? Thank you. Sit down. So Dr. Andrew. We call him Dr. Andrew hereafter. So Andrew wants to become a doctor, and Andrew writes, sir, I am preparing for the examination. I am supposed to write an examination tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Fine, okay. But I have seen you that you have been distracted. Your mind is going on somewhere. Your mind is immediately plugging into the smartphone and it takes what are the notifications that you have received. So I want to distract that distraction. So come on, Andrew, write down your goal. So Andrew writes, I have to become a doctor, or I want to become a doctor. I would like to decide to become a doctor. Now, around that particular thing that Andrew has written in the center of the page, I want Andrew to answer these questions that gentleman read out. What is the first question that Andrew has to answer in that question? What is the first question? What is it? Beautiful. How? So Andrew has to write how. And what will be the answer? Andrew will be having his own answer. When the mind is given the proper attention focus, the mind will give him answers. The mind will start giving answers for the question how. Then what question can Andrew ask after how? What is it? Fantastic. Why? Goal setting is different, goal getting is different. So many goals are getting failed because of not proper reasoning. I have a goal and I don't have a proper reason. So Andrew has to write, no, when I was a present student, I wanted to go and teach many things to the students. And my friend asked me a question, why do you do that? Instead of sitting in a wonderful table and working as an office job, why would you go to schools and colleges and why would you shout at the students? I said, I would like to change the mind because I have got the capability. So that reason is what is carrying forward me, right? So Andrew has to write the reason. Why he wants to become a doctor. Of all the doctors who are really doing a wonderful contribution to the society, what is the new thing that Andrew is going to do after becoming a doctor? What is the next question that Andrew has to ask? When? Timeline for the goal is very important. Alright? So when? Andrew has to clear-cut write the year, the month, and even the day. I told you, I gave you a slide, right? Conscious mind in bracket dash, subconscious mind in bracket dash. Now fill in the blanks. Conscious mind, what was it in the dash? Smart. Wishes and desire. And subconscious mind, what was it? Fantastic. Programming. Now what Andrew is doing, he's communicating to his conscious mind or subconscious mind now? By virtue of asking these questions, when, where, what, and all that, Andrew is giving the information to his subconscious mind, whereas then the subconscious mind will take care of the programming, right? Now coming back, what was the third question you mentioned that Andrew has to ask? Why, right? The reasoning, fine. I have to be an innovative doctor. There are plenty of diseases, and I will be in the front line to find out the medicines for giving so much of comfort to the patients. Likewise, Andrew writes his purpose. What's the fourth question that he has to ask? Who? And what is the answer for this particular question? Any guesses? The role models Andrew has. The inspiration that Andrew has. Well, Mr. Manikandan, I don't have any inspiration. I just wanted to be a doctor alone. Fine, then who is blank? Alright, okay? And what is the next question that he has to ask? What? What are all the skills he is supposed to develop for becoming a wonderful doctor? What are all the attainments he has to have for developing the one, in order to become a wonderful doctor? So, 18 minutes back, Andrew was suffering from a distraction. Now, after putting Andrew into this particular commitment, do you really think this boy will be distracted further? Yes or no? No, because the mind has been diverted towards one thing, something very constructive. And this is what I want you to do. So this is called as distracting the distractors. Pull over your blank page and write down this notes one. So, no, your document itself has got some notes taking section. So, I want you to have a good notes taking of this particular mind mapping technique. This is going to be a real help for distracting your distractions. We spoke about those 83% of the people who are suffering from not having a proper idea. We spoke about those 83% of people who are really going to the work that they are disliking, who are belonging to the industry that they don't even like. And we spoke about you are not supposed to be in that 83%, right? For that, the first step is use this mind mapping technique for distracting the distractors. We can even name it as distracting the distractors, and this is a questionnaire that you need to model. The entire video is getting recorded in my phone. So tomorrow morning, once I get back home, what I will do is I'll process the video and I will post this in my official YouTube channel, and I will send the link to our teachers here. If you are interested, you can get the link and you can download this video. Right? Any person who is absent today can also be able to use it. So this is called as distracting the distractors. Any questions on this? Make a quick note on it, and then we are moving to the next section. And for the next section, I wanted to use your document. I'll tell you where. So the first step is distracting the distractor. Now, the mystery mind is clear to an extent. Right. Time for some exercise now. We call this as mental object retention. Why I am deploying this particular exercise to you, I'll tell you a little bit later. But right now, I want you to form, when I ask you to close your eyes, students alone will close your eyes and you will follow through my exercise. Like when I ask you to close your eyes, you will close your eyes and I will be asking you to form a shape like this. Okay? Forming a shape of a diamond. Okay? I will wait for some seconds and then I will tell you to give a certain color for that particular diamond. Here in this slide it is represented as green color. But during the exercise, I will be asking you either to give a grey color or a red color or whatever it may be. Whatever color, but I'm definitely not going to say green because your mind has been conditioned with green by looking at it. So I'm going to give you a different kind of a color. So when I say that you have to give a different kind of a color, you are supposed to see that particular shape with a different kind of a color. That particular color, and comes the crucial part of the exercise. I will not speak for 30 seconds. And in the 30 seconds, you have to maintain that picture. That diamond shape with a specific color that I have figured out. You're not supposed to allow the diamond shape to get collapsed. Shall we do this exercise? Dr. Andrew, shall we do this? Right. Shall we do this? Beautiful. So, you know why I'm keeping the time as very, very less, 30 seconds? Because I want you to be back. If I keep 2 minutes or 3 minutes with this chill AC hall, I know what will happen. So 30 seconds or 40 seconds, that's what is going to be this time. Okay, right? So hold your senses, come on, close your eyes. So students alone, close your eyes. Interested people. If you're not interested in the exercise, keep your eyes open. But if you're interested in this exercise, keep your eyes closed. Alright? Okay? Close your eyes. Wonderful. Now listen to my counting. I am going to count backwards. And completely relax. Keep your mind and body relaxed. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep yourself so relaxed. Don't have any other thoughts in your mind. So my dear boys and girls, I want you to form a beautiful square shape. A blank, plain, box-like square shape. Fabulous. I want you to fill the square with a purple color. Dark purple color. Beautiful. And now, for the next 30 seconds, I'm not going to speak anything. And for the next 30 seconds, I want you to maintain and keep this purple color square box intact in your mind. Time starts now. Beautiful. Now relax. Forget the shape. And come back along with me when I start counting 1, 2. But how many people in this room were really able to see something called as a square box? Honest answers. Square box. I was able to see square box. Fine, fine. Very good number. Very good number. Good. Thank you, boys and girls. Put your hands down. How many people were able to, out of all these people who have raised their hands, because the other people have not raised their hands, which obviously means that you are not able to see the shape at all, right? So out of all the people who raised their hands, how many people were really able to see purple color into the box? Fine, marginal number, the same number of hands are raising. Okay. Now comes the question. How many people in the given 30 second span of time were really able to maintain that? For all the 30 seconds, I was able to maintain that purple square box. I repeat my question in case you have not heard. For all the 30 seconds, I have maintained purple box, square box. If you want to raise your hand, then why are you looking at the other person's face? Come on, raise your hand. Right. Fine. Good job. Good job. I believe and I blindly hope that you are saying the truth. But for the other people, and there are some VIPs over here who have not raised their hands for any of those 3 questions. So the people who have been having this wonderful experience, what has been really happening? First category is fading. That is the picture not even standing. It keeps on disappearing. It keeps on going away. Second one is shifting. My goodness, I wanted to give purple, but it kept on shifting to become grey, become black, become green. Right? The next one is, I was genuinely trying to keep it as a square, but instead of square, it was shaping any other forms. It was a circle, it was an octagon, it was a hexagon. How many people had fading experience? Okay. Thank you. How many people had shifting experience? All right. Okay. And how many people had warping experience? Right. How many people had none of the above? Okay. Actually, none of the above is 40% of the entire crowd. I know that, but you people are not raising their hand. Can you tell me, gentlemen, what's your name? Kailash, yes. Kailash, can you tell me why at all I had to demonstrate this particular exercise in this crowd?
To know where our constellation lies.
To know where your concentration lies. Okay, that's a good answer. Thank you, Kailash. Can you say? Kailash said it's about concentration. What do you think? No. One thing that is not allowed is same as the above, ditto. And the answer what is the answer. Okay? Nothing. Same. People don't answer. Nothing. Oh, probably. Very good. Good choice. Thank you. You give me the answer. What is your opinion? He says it's about concentration. He also says it's about concentration.
I think that the goal we set in our life
Beautiful. Your hand.
is fading, shifting, or warping.
What's your name? Justin. Thank you, Justin. You're smart enough. At the same time, Kailash was also giving the smart answer. Concentration, where it is getting diverted. If you are not able to keep your mind at straight for 30 seconds, thinking about a shape, that is where the problem lies. When it comes to a goal, sometimes we are expecting somebody else to come and remind us the goal. Andrew, your goal is to become a doctor. Please don't get escaped out of it. Your goal is to become an IPS officer. Your goal is to become a rocket scientist. Your goal is to become this. Your goal is to become that. Somebody has to be there in order to tap the shoulder and prompt to us that this is our goal. Because sometimes we are getting our goal like shifting, we are getting our goal like warping, we are getting our goal like fade. Fading is the most important section as far as goal is concerned. A boy at the 10th standard, he wants to become a doctor. In plus 1, he changes his mind to become an engineer. In plus 2, he changes his mind to become a teacher. And after the college, he just wants to start a business. And after finishing the graduation, he wants to go for a PG. And after finishing the PG, he wants to get married. That's it. That's the biggest goal that I have. This is what is called as goals fading, goals shifting, and goals warping. So, if this is not supposed to happen,